здесь, я здесь, я здесь. Давай сохранение 1. Эй. Поехали дальше.
You must never put your life on the line for me.
Хорошо.
Mother has always had a fascination for Lord Mortimer, but has never wanted to tell me why.
We are doing our utmost to find your mother as quickly as possible. Without your mother, hundreds of men of the cloth would have gone to the guillotine.
All I can tell you is I'm looking for my sister.
Do you believe your mother capable of torturing a child?
An agreement for cannons. Lord Mortimer assured me that you are to take over the project on behalf of your mother.
Johann Christoph von Wollner, Minister of Religious Affairs, and Jacques Peroux, French Revolutionary Tribunal Judge. You'll find that Lord Mortimer is not what one would call conventional, Monsieur de Richet.
I do apologize for being late. I was obliged to clear up some urgent business.
Да Мортимер пришел. Выберите манускрипт. Давай вот это и выучим, да. Хорошо.
At last we meet, Monsieur de Richet. Do you mind if I call you Louis?
Please do.
Thank you. I wish to apologize wholeheartedly, Louis. I made you cross the seas, and I wasn't even here to welcome you. When I asked you to join us here, it was, of course, in the hope that you would help us find your mother. Unfortunately, I am now confronted with another problem, which I would rather have done without. You see, last night, Miss Adams also went missing.
Что она не исчезла. Узнать подробности. Позволит ему продолжить. Давай продолжим.
I have had my people searching for her all over the island. Alas, to no avail. It so happens that both her mental and her physical health are extremely fragile. I'm worried that the same thing happened to her as to your mother. Also, I would appreciate it very much if you could tell me what you were doing on the floor in her room in the early hours
It's quite
of the
normal.
morning.
I can explain everything.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear it. You see, Sir Gregory is about to arrive, and he's taken Elizabeth's disappearance very, very seriously. Please, reassure him so that we can talk about your mother. William, I would like to see you a moment before we begin. In private. Let's step outside a moment. Louis, this will only take a few moments.
Специально бумажки подложили, чтобы я почитал. Подсунули бумажки, в общем. Обыскать комнату. Давай обыщем комнату.
Let's take this chance to look around.
Так, что за бумажки у нас тут положили? Тут изложены свидетельские показания Бонапарта и Хиллсброу. Показания Наполеона Бонапарта. Когда месье Бонапарта спросили, что он делал вчера ночью, он ответил: я разговаривал с лордом Мортимером, а затем всю ночь играл в карты с сэром Грегори, мистером Вашингтоном и кардиналом Пьяджи. Выиграл сэр Грегори. Когда месье Бонапарта спросили, не заметил ли он чего-нибудь подозрительного, он ответил: на рассвете кто-то прошел по балкону, но я не разглядел, кто это был. Показания герцогини Хиллсборо. Когда герцогиня Хиллсборо спросили, что она делала вчера ночью, она ответила: я провела вечер в компании месье де Риши. Мы любовались картинами в галерее. По пути в комнату мы встретили мисс Адамс. Я устала, а потому оставила месье де Реше разговаривать с мисс Адамс, а сама отправилась спать. Когда герцогиню спросили, не заметил ли она что-нибудь подозрительного, он ответил ничего. Все, что ли?
Please, sit back down, Louis.
This sort of behavior is not working in your favor, young man.
Gregory, Louis told me we needn't be concerned.
Of course. Monsieur de Richet, the situation seems to escape your grasp, so I won't beat about the bush. Did you kill Elizabeth Adams?
Конечно, нет. Я не помню. 2 ошибки доступны. Давай, я не помню.
Everything's all mixed up in my head. I'm sorry. Look, we had a few drinks and I think I remember putting laudanum in the wine and I started getting dizzy. I don't remember anything about last night.
I don't think you could have provided a worse answer to that question.
Так, ошибочка вышла.
We must remain calm, Gregory. We have found no evidence that would suggest that Elizabeth has been murdered. For the time being, she has only disappeared. Let's stick to the facts, if you please.
Well, where is she then?
Могла уехать домой, я не знаю, откуда мне знать, может, она у сестры.
Technically, I'm simply incapable of telling you where she might be. And we never talked about her destination. What I can say is that the last time I saw Elizabeth, she was in her room. And she just decided to leave the island.
Gregory, you must admit that just because Louis doesn't know where Elizabeth is, does not prove that something's happened to her.
Так, хорошо, успешный этап.
Damnation, William! This is a fiasco. Sir, you don't seem to realize just how serious this is.
Let's try and remain calm, Gregory. In any case, it would be far better if Elizabeth really has left the island, as Louis says. Why do you think she wanted to
Она
leave?
хотела уехать. Она ощущала себя в
She
западне.
was persuaded she was going to die. When she saw that you had invited my mother, she thought that you wanted to put an end to her. She felt betrayed.
But why didn't she speak to me about it?
Elizabeth had nothing to fear from us. You know very well who she was afraid of, but you don't dare say. Monsieur de Richet,
Так,
we have given you every
неудача.
opportunity to reassure us as to the fate of Elizabeth. You have only succeeded in plunging yourself into deeper trouble.
Давай заново.
I will never rest until we are certain that Elizabeth is indeed alive.
I assure you, my lord.
We are obliged to believe you for the moment. Consequently, I shall make you a promise in return. If ever we find out that anything has happened to poor Elizabeth, I shall personally see to it that your head will land in a basket.
Злой какой Грегори.
You don't need us for any of this. So come along, Monsieur Peru.
Докажите свою
We are
невиновность. Ага. Итак, я проиграл противостояние. Это хреновенько.
Right. It's time we spoke about your mother, Louis.
Она не пропала, она прячется. Она часто исчезала.
When I first came here, I wasn't that worried. In the past, my mother has taken a few liberties during her missions, including disappearing for several days on end.
Well, that doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's activities, and yours, in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the canon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
I see. So impetuous. He was supposed to let me speak to you about it first. Our friend Napoleon desperately needed financial backing to properly equip his army. I took it upon myself to back him, because I have a firm conviction that he can go far.
We shall see. However, there's one thing that surprises me. Isn't Bonaparte a bit young to deserve so much attention?
Well, you come straight to the point. I like that. Indeed, if you knew just how much you remind me of him. Trust me, I'll wager that Monsieur Napoleon will soon prove himself. I'm working on it, at least. Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on my island to present them with a project at the conference. It will be presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play, and I still think so. I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
Indeed, if by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you will be able to keep your mother informed of what I say.
And I still think so.
There's something else.
Sarah would be able to join us.
Earlier, you asked me the official reason for your mother's presence.
Not to
Is there an off-the-record reason why your mother came here?
do me the great honor of attending, if only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat. Why not?
Only my mother had trusted me, but she remained very mysterious. I'd have been delighted to answer your question.
Is this bad news for her?
As head of the Order, secrets are her bread and butter, as you can imagine. That said, it's the first time she hasn't let me in on the reason for her trip. And it intrigues me, to tell you the truth.
Well, I'm sure that Sarah will explain everything once she reappears. There's something I still don't get. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Her not coming back to the manor after so long makes me wonder if she is wary of someone.
Well, certainly. But whom? The only ones who were present during her stay were Sir Gregory, Duchess Hillsborough, Mr. von Wollner, and myself.
And what about Mr. von Wollner? Do you know him well?
To be honest, not really. He's closer to Gregory. I'm not the one who invited him.
What I know of him is what they say in high society salons. He's a man who manages to form alliances with the right people when it's necessary. As a minister of the church, he actively repressed the religions of the book and the spirit of the Enlightenment. And, if I'm not mistaken, he has a passion for alchemy.
But then, I must admit, he is rather evasive and not very talkative, at least toward me.
I'd like to have a word with him if I get the chance. He might be able to tell me more about my mother's last days with you.
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. At the beginning of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
You seem to know my mother very well, my lord. What did you talk about together?
Oh, as soon as we had a little free time, we liked to share points of view about practically any subject. We would find ourselves embarked on interminable discussions that could go from Monsieur Blanchard's flight in a hot air balloon to the Treaty of Jersey, or the adoption of the metric system in France last year, or even Mr. Eli Whitney's invention in the United States.
My mother must have undoubtedly taken great pleasure in these exchanges. She always was one to appreciate broadening her knowledge. I'm surprised she didn't get you started on the Crusades. It was her favorite subject.
Are you joking? Sarah and I spent entire days together reliving them. It so happens that the Crusades are also my subject of predilection, especially the Third. My ancestor distinguished himself brilliantly during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Unfortunately, my lord, the Crusades are not my chosen field.
Well, it doesn't matter. You have plenty of time to learn. Your mother is a very well-read woman. You're quite lucky to have her as a model, Louis.
Yes, I know, but I'm still very worried.
I must admit, there are worse things to worry about now, Louis.
What do you mean?
Since she disappeared, your mother has been seen once. Her behavior on the evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma, Emily Hillsborough's twin sister. And she shot her with a pistol. Then, before Gregory could intervene, she ran off and disappeared again.
I beg your pardon? Hang on.
That means my vision on the wall actually happened inside the manor. Mother shot Emily's sister? The very person she came looking for? How did she do that?
Excuse me, but between that and the childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more clearly. You said that you spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation, until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
She would shut herself away in a room box room upstairs.
Would you allow me to go there?
Naturally, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
I shall stay on her trail and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the meantime, I shall get someone to open the box room upstairs for you.
Thank you.
Так, итого мы идем в кладовую.
The room is just opposite Mortimer's study.
Так, что здесь? Ага, на лестницу нельзя. Ничего, да? Найдите башенную комнату. Так. Башенная комната. Что у нас по карте? Коридор, ведущий в гостевые комнаты. Кабинет Мортимера. Библиотека, где собраны едва ли не все знания мира. Балкон. Здесь еще неизвестно что. Библиотека. Ну вот это, наверное, скорее всего, башенная комната. Я правильно, в принципе, иду. Это лестница вниз, а он сказал этажом выше. Так, да, вот это. Так, и вот здесь вот должна быть комната. Нет, сюда не пускают. А этажом выше только кабинет Мортимера, все. А, это библиотека. Комната для реши. Это сад. И где слуга? Он рассказал, этажом выше. Почему я не могу найти? Так, что здесь?
Monseigneur, His Eminence Cardinal Piaggi. Duchess Emily Hillsborough.
Все, уже по кругу оббежал. Куда еще-то? Так. Угу. Как скажешь. Хорошо. Тоже нельзя. А. Меня видит, да, в камере и тебя. Да, там никого нету сейчас. Так. Эй. Ага, башенная комната.
There are burnt papers in the chimney. There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says, we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Так, хорошо. Что тут еще?
Papers in the chimney. There's a legible fragment left. Hey,
Понял.
I recognize
Ладно.
my mother's handwriting. She says, we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of?
Да хорош уже, все.
I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Так, здесь что, мед у нас? Мед. Так, еще записи. Книжка.
Dante's Paradise.
Рай Данте.
Raise your head and be reassured. For what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our ways.
Да, Данте. Так.
What is this disc?
Что за диск? Взять, оставить. Рассмотреть диск никак. Давай взять. Вы получили предмет магнетит. Выйти не могу. Кармелитская вода.
St. Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio.
Давай
Caravaggio
изучим
can be
картину.
magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
Ладно. Раз уж тут ничего не нашли. Выйти тоже не могу. Оба, ну а там что? Ничего. Так, выход, все что ли? Найдите зацепки. Странно, все. Тут зацепок больше нету. Коллекционные монеты. Ага, туда нельзя пройти. Так, магнетит-то магнетит. Может, в книжках что есть? Нет, нету в книжках.
Dante's Paradise. Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
Странно, конечно. Что я тут могу еще найти? Если тут больше ничего нету. А вот это, ага. Нет, все. Магнетит мне для чего? Вопрос. Можете записи как-то прочитать?
St. Paul on the Road to Damascus by Caravaggio.
Это выход, да? Башенная комната. Ну-ка, для тех записей еще раз. Все, записи куда-то пропали. Ладно, выходим отсюда. Пошли дальше. А, черт, закрыли. Похоже, дверь заперта с другой стороны. Ага. Отойти от двери, открыть. Открыть. Оба, ключ с той стороны упал.
A metallic sound, like a key falling to the floor. We'll see if it works.
Так, хорошо, ключик мы взяли.
It's open.
Ага, так. Еще. Давай посмотрим от начала. Мед. Мед мы взяли. Картинка. Не изучить картину, отойти. Давай изучим.
St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. Now, what's that mean? So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
Так, хорошо. Ладно, здесь посмотрели. Так, дальше посмотрим по кругу, что у нас здесь есть. Ничего, а вот здесь точно что-то есть.
Amber crystals.
Осколки янтаря, понял? Это есть. Я, кажется. Рассмотреть картину.
Painting of Saint Mark.
Святой Марк, еще один портрет апостола кисти Квидорени. Так. Далее, что у нас по списку?
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Pliny. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Софистрия, учим софистрия. А что такое софистрия? Магнетит, ключ, золотой, кармелитская вода, мед, якорцы. Ладно.
It's Saint John, painted by Guido Rini.
Все, да? Здесь тоже что-то кто-то делал. Здесь не выйти. Здесь книжка. Новый Завет. Прочесть Евангелие святых апостолов. Первая часть послания Павла. Вторая часть послания Павла. Книга прочесть сборное послание от книга. От Луки, от Матфея. Так. Первая часть послания Павла. Глава 5, стих 12, глава 3, стих 11. Глава 11, стих 11. Вот, два раза подчеркнуто. Прочесть главу 11, стих 11. Да.
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Oh, wait, a note from Mother is carefully folded between the pages here. What does it say? Dear E, I'm glad you found this note. I was afraid the code of the two groups of pilgrims would mislead you. Pick up the package. You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative. Awaiting your reply, hidden behind the youngest apostle. What? The youngest apostle? What does Mother mean by that?
Самым молодым из апостолов.
A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Rini. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel. There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean?
Так, а это еще о чем? Давай Библию, послание к Коринфам посмотрим.
For we are unto God a sweet savor of Christ, in them that are saved, and in them that perish.
Ни о чем, понял. Так, нам нужно как-то оставить...
A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Там земля была, здесь воздух.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Rini. It looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Так. Заберите книгу, вы знаете откуда, и спрячьте там, где никто не найдет, срочно. Ответную записку спрячьте за самым молодым из апостолов. Книгу. А книга-то на пирсе, наверное.
The painting looks like it's been taken down recently. But wasn't my mother said that she would wait for an answer hidden behind the apostle? Ah, of course. There's something written behind the painting. On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and three to their right to complete their range. What does it mean? St. John is the only apostle painted in this gallery who hasn't got a beard. Hey, wait! That means it's him. He's the youngest apostle. Right. This painting is therefore associated with the answer which E had to give to my mother. Now, I just need to know how to recover the answer. They should add a companion to their left and three to their right to complete their ranks. I imagine it applies to their code, the one Mother set up with the pilgrims. What's this? A group of pilgrims who Paul was talking to, and now John is telling them prophecies?
Так, пророчество Иоанна. Павла. Прочесть послание Якова, прочесть первое послание Петра. Второе, стих 11, первую, 8, 4, 13, 3, 5, 5, 19, 5, 6, 6, 12 и 4. Первый слева и третий справа. Это что значит? Прочесть первый слева, третий справа. Вот это, наверное. 13.
Hereby know that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his spirit.
Ничего.
I guess I'll just come back later.
Так. От Павла. Коринфянам. 8, 4, 18, 2, 15, 13, 7. Назад. К римлянам. 3, 11. Первое слева, третье справа.
This only would I learn of you. Receive ye the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith?
Так, что-то как-то ни о чем.
I guess I'll just come back later.
Давай-ка еще раз сюда.
It's St. John, painted by Guido Rini. They should add a companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their ranks.
Одним верующим
I
слева,
imagine
третьим
it
справа.
applies to
Это
their
есть
code,
тот, который
the
матушка
one
придумала
Mother set up with the
паломниками.
pilgrims. What's this? A group of pilgrims who Paul was talking to, And now John is telling them prophecies?
Первый слева, третий справа. Первый слева. Стой, назад. Если... Первый слева, третий справа. Вернуться к началу. Евангелие от их апостолов. Открыть Евангелие от Иоанна, от Марка. От Иоанна. 3 стих 18, 10 стих 30.
I and my Father are one.
Не то. Вторая часть. Первая часть послания Павла. Вторая часть послания Павла. Ну-ка, первый слева, третий справа.
And the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and a half a time, from the face of the serpent. Hey, a new note. It's been folded carefully in the corner of this page. The writing, it's not my mother's. S. I found the book in your effects. I've concealed it where no one can get their hands on it. I can assure you, awaiting your instructions, I will hear your reply like he who hears the angel. Hears the angel? What does that mean? Oh, it's probably the place where she was expecting to get the location of the next note.
Так, глаз ангела. Это вот этот же.
There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean? A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel.
Так, давай еще раз, что написано на записке. Половина каждой группы пойдет к первому городу Коринфу. А сам кто это? Портрет апостола Матфея. Ага, Матфей. Матфей, да? Давай посмотрим от Матфея. От Марка, Иоанн, Матфей. Матфей. Прочесть 6, половина 9, 9, 18, 13, 2, 19, 5. Давай
Take heed
первое.
that ye practice your justice before men, to be seen differently by them. Otherwise, ye shall have no reward of your Father which is in heaven.
Ничего. Второй.
And great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore.
Ничего. Не. От Матфея.
But Jesus turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, Daughter, be of good comfort, thy faith hath made thee whole. And the woman was made whole from that hour.
Ничего, последнее осталось. Матфей.
And said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh.
Тоже ничего. Бу-бу-бу-бу-бу. Я чего-то, наверное, не понимаю, скорее всего. Ух ты. Так, ну-ка пойдем туда, все обобщим. Вот здесь можно все обобщить, я так понимаю.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. Of the four apostles shown in this piece, Paul is the only one who isn't an evangelist.
Он 13-й
He is the
апостол.
13th apostle. So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must
я
be
уже читал,
somewhere,
что еще
and it
есть?
must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
Так. Вот здесь что-то еще должно быть, по идее.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
И все. Здесь я все вытащил. Вот остается вот эта вот загадка с этой фигней. Давай еще раз рассмотреть
The drawing of the
картину.
Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni,
Матфей.
is represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel. There's something else behind this painting. It says half
Половина
of
каждой
each
группы
group
пойдет к
will join
первому
the
городу
first city
Коринфу.
of Corinth. What the hell does that mean?
От Матфея. Первому городу Коринфу. Первая, значит, первая часть Коринфа. Ну-ка, давай-ка. От Матфея. Я их все уже прочитал.
Take heed that ye practice your justice before men,
А,
to be seen
может
differently
быть,
by them. Otherwise,
Коринфянам?
ye shall have no reward of your Father which is in heaven.
Коринфянам. Первое послание к Коринфянам.
For ye are bought with a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's.
Не оно.
If we have hope in Christ in this life only, we are, of all men, most miserable.
Не оно.
For the Jews require a sign, and the Greeks seek after wisdom.
Опять не оно.
Now, therefore, there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law with one another. Why do ye not rather suffer injustice? Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? Ah, look, here's a
Вот
message.
послание.
It is of paramount importance that no one finds it. Watch out for the Prussian. He's on the trail. Let's meet up. I'll leave it to you to organize the rendezvous. Not today. I'm unable to do it. In the meantime, I'll follow the first group to Mark, who will reveal the answer to them. Prussian? Volner? I must have a word with him. And that first group of pilgrims, how many are there now? If I refer to the chapter I'm reading at the moment, 6.
Шесть. Так, может здесь?
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. It looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
6. Так, там еще что-то может быть, а может...
St. Paul on the Road to Damascus by Caravaggio. Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior. St. Paul is the only saint to be presented twice in his paintings, contrary to the other apostles. How come?
Дважды. Ага, изучить
This
раму.
painting has been hanging here for a long time. A lot of dust is built up on it. Well, a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust. I can read the number 4.
4. Ага. 2, 4, 6 цифры. Так, 2, 4, 6. Какие-то из них. Еще Павла надо читать теперь. Первая часть, вторая часть. А, дважды это значит вторая часть. Четырнадцатый, 4, 8. К евреям. 6, 8, 12, 14, 7, 14. Вот 6, 2 есть.
Honor thy father and thy mother, as this is the first commandment.
Не то.
Honor thy father and thy mother,
Не то.
as this is the first commandment.
2, 4, 6.
A volume of the Gutenberg Bible. This book is incredibly precious. I believe this is the book my mother referred to when calling upon the Lord.
Вторая часть. Ну-ка, это...
I guess I'll just come back later.
Так, если туда сбегать. 2, 4, 6. Еще раз рассмотрим картину.
St. Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio.
Дамаск. Дамаск это что у нас?
Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and
Дамаск.
the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
На дорогу в Дамаск. Дамаск. Точно не евреи, так? Филиппийцы, евреи. С Ефесянам. Четыре, 6. 4, 5, 5, 14, 3, 9, 1, 1. 6, 14, 6, 2. Ладно, давай попробуем по порядку. Начнем с филиппийцев.
Whose end is destruction, whose God is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame, who think only of earthly things.
Не то.
Whose end is destruction, whose God is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame, who think only of earthly things. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things.
Не то.
Even as it is meet for me to think this of you all, because I have you in my heart, inasmuch as both in my bonds. And in defense and confirmation of the gospel, ye all are partakers of my grace.
Опять не то.
Do all things without murmurings and disputes.
Тоже не то. К евреям.
Thou hast put all things under his feet, for in that he put all in subjection under him. He left nothing that is not put under him.
Вот они достали, а?
But that which beareth thorns and briars is rejected, and is nigh unto cursing, whose end is to be burned. Here's a message. There are some complications. Indeed, the Prussian is insistent. What's happening at your end? Do you need help? If tonight is not possible, let's see tomorrow evening, in the South Room, where we reviewed the situation. When Paul understood that only the axe counted, he went back on his tracks. I await your confirmation to his left, in the company of the pilgrims who joined them. Yeah, this last comment is about their code. I should find new pilgrims near Paul.
Надо найти новых паломников при апостоле.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. Of the 4 apostles shown in this piece, Paul is the only one who isn't an evangelist. He is the 13th apostle. Strange. St. Paul is shown twice, unlike the other disciples. Little characters are engraved on the chest of drawers under the urn. It's a sentence in Hebrew.
Это предложение на иврите. Я не могу прочитать. Ладно.
Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Guido Reni. There's nothing worth noticing here. There are finger marks, deliberately drawn in the dust.
8.
In all. No, nothing of value here. It's too cumbersome for me to unhook here, but judging by the dust, it hasn't been moved for months, if not years.
Так, 8, да? Посмотреть картину.
Painting of St. Mark from the
Святой
collection
Марк.
of the Apostles by Guido Reni.
Ага, это у нас Святой Марк. Хорошо. 8. Седьмой стих 1. Вот это,
Then came
наверное.
together unto him the Pharisees, and certain of the scribes, which came from Jerusalem.
Ничего. Странно.
And it came to pass in those days that Jesus came from Nazareth of Galilee, and was baptized by John in Jordan.
Так, ничего. Марк.
And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet.
Ничего. Я все прочел уже.
And as they did eat, Jesus took bread, and blessed it, and broke it, and gave it to them, and said, Take, eat, this is my body.
Странно.
Then came together unto him the Pharisees, and certain of the scribes, which came from Jerusalem. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven like a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And he became very hungry, and would have eaten, but while they were made ready, he fell into a trance. Hey, there's a note here. A message from Mother in reply to E. We must leave urgently, but first I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare. Watch out for Volner. He figured out I was avoiding him. Allay suspicion. See you tomorrow evening. Stand ready. For now, let's cease all communication until we meet. Take care of yourself. I suppose this must be the last message. What happened afterward? If it's what I suspect, I fear the worst. What did Mother mean by, I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare? I must go beyond the nightmare. What does she mean by that?
За ночной кошмар.
Clearly she must be trying to do something useful, but the what? The nightmare. Does that remind me of anything?
Это место, это предмет, это образ. Это
Must
место.
surely speak of a place. Granting that this is the case, where might it be found? It was a study. I'm practically sure of it. Yes, it's the painting that was behind Mortimer's study.
Картина в кабинете Мортимера.
Well, let's see if Mortimer has anything to hide behind his painting. Mortimer's getting his guests together. I ought to join them so I don't look suspicious.
Ага. Так, ладно, здесь больше делать нечего. Это уж точно. Присоединитесь к остальным гостям. Четыре, да, навыка. Это что? Эрудиция плюс 1 очко навыка. Психология. Уклонение. Логика. Этикет. Хорошо.
It's time I went back and joined everyone in the small salon.
Так, в малую гостиную пойдем. Давай кого-то спросим.
You are expected in the small salon, sir.
Вас ожидают в малой гостиной, сэр. Комната Адамс, башенная комната. Библиотека, столовая. Малая гостиная. Ага, спуститься по лестнице.
Emily, I must speak to you.
What's the matter, Louis?
I have news about your sister.
What have you found out?
Look, I've started piecing together the events leading up to my mother's disappearance and your sister's. Did my mother know about your secret?
Yes, even though I belong to the English chapter, her rank in the Order gives her access to a good deal of personal information.
It must have been Emma I saw in my vision. I was given to understand that my mother and your sister bonded during their stay. I've got a question that might seem a little bit strange.
I'm listening.
If I said go beyond the nightmare, would that ring any bells?
No, means nothing to me. Do you mean literally or figuratively speaking?
It might be a place, I don't know where, but it's a lead.
You ought to ask His Eminence. He knows the house and its estate very well, being a frequent visitor here.
Thanks for the advice. Should I speak to her about my vision? If what I saw is true, she might want to take revenge. I better keep that to myself for the time being.
Come, Louis. They're waiting for us.
You will pay dearly, Peru. I'm sure you were involved somewhere along the line.
That's right. Pretend you don't know. One piece of advice. Don't travel through France on your way back, or it'll cost you dearly.
Calm now, my friends. Let's calm down. Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
What's going on here exactly?
Sir Gregory called us together to introduce the last guest.
But hardly had we arrived when he set upon Monsieur Peru.
And who is this charming character?
Manuel Godoy, the Duke of La Alcudia.
He's the head of the Spanish government, Monsieur de Richet. He's the one who, in practice, controls Spain.
How could you dare do such a thing? Dios mío, you are all out of your minds!
Really, Duke Manuel? What made you kick up such a fuss?
What? Have you not heard? Well, let me inform you that yesterday morning at 10:22 a.m. precisely, in the middle of the Place de la Révolution in Paris, by decree of the National Convention which Monsieur Peru works for, King Louis was guillotined.
What?
The King of France is dead, gentlemen. Our monarchies are in danger. I have said it before. How dare they?
Oh dear.
Friends, let us calm down.
Don't pretend to be surprised. You got a fair trial.
Ridiculous! Bastard! He was sentenced to death by 361 votes to 360. You beheaded a king for one vote! Is that your democracy?
What an obnoxious act. Until this, anything was possible. This political coup will have grave consequences.
France is lost.
Gentlemen, please. Let us take a step back a moment.
In the name of holiness. He was the highest representative of God in France, Emily.
Gentlemen, Duchess, we're all among people of reputable company here. We should be able to manage the conflicts of our nations in a respectful and orderly manner.
I fully agree with you, sir.
But
that's enough, sir.
With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Louis Maras de Richet.
Are you related to Sarah de Richet?
Sarah is his mother, Duke. Gentlemen, this news affects us all, but I must ask you to remain calm. It's not the first time history has taken us by surprise. Let's ensure that our respective countries are allowed to respond appropriately to this news.
Oh, rest assured. The response will not fall short, my friend.
Good for you. Well, Your Grace, here I was preparing to introduce you as is proper, and you've beaten me to it. I'm delighted that we are all together at last. Our meeting will therefore be able to kick off shortly. I have just a few more little preparations to take care of before you all find out the reason for your presence here. In the meantime, I shall leave you to get to know one another. When you hear the bell, please proceed to the conclave room on my left, behind that door. I'll see you later.
Хорошо. Будем знакомиться.
Could you spare a moment, please, sir?
I'm glad you asked. I want to talk to you, too.
Of course.
I heard about your mother's disappearance.
He looks concerned. I don't know why, but I doubt it's from sympathy alone. Let's see what he wants from me.
Any news of her? Have you found her, maybe?
Почему вы спрашиваете?
Is there something you particularly wanted from her?
No, not specially.
My questions made him feel uneasy, but he's keeping his emotions under control.
Your mother and I used to often speak together. I have rarely met someone so learned. To tell you the truth, I was about to make a deal with her. Did she tell you about our arrangement?
The cat's out of the bag now. More or less, but please do refresh my memory.
Yes, of course. Nothing of great importance in itself. During one of our discussions, she spoke of an old book, which might have been of interest to me, and she had agreed to let me have it.
A book about what?
Ancient occultism. As you are aware, I am a doctor of theology. You might have come across some old books in her belongings, perhaps?
Вот видите, уклончиво о тайнах мироздания притвориться несведущим, ответить отрицательно. Давай несведущим.
My mother is never without her favorite book.
Oh, a stroke of luck?
I didn't think her original edition of Bougainville would be so captivating to you.
No, indeed. The one I'm interested in is a very old book, with each chapter under lock and key. It has nothing to do with de Bougainville's book.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that.
Well, too bad.
You seem very upset. Is it so important to you, this book?
Well, it's the search of a lifetime. What can I say? Every time I move closer to it, it seems to slip away at the last minute. I was very surprised to learn that your mother had it in her possession. I thought it was with a certain von Borchardt in Paris. Do you know him?
I've never heard of him. I'm sorry, I haven't been much help to you.
Well, too bad.
I hope I've been able to satisfy your curiosity, Mr. von Volner, and that you succeed in finding what you're looking for.
Oh, and so do I.
And now, what if you told me who you really are working for, instead of keeping up this pretense?
I beg your pardon?
We both know what you're looking for, von Volner. You're the one who von Borchardt was planning to sell it to.
For centuries, all those who have come into contact with the Al-Azif have bitterly regretted it, Monsieur de Richet. You are playing a dangerous game. Please know that I am working for someone who does not appreciate anyone poking around in his business.
Let me guess. Your dear king, I should think.
What? You mean Frederick William? Oh, my poor fellow. You are miles away. That stupid, pretentious puppet wields no real power. But seeing as you do not wish to be serious, so be it. Good luck to you.
Ага, значит, не король. С картиной в кабинете Мортимера. Узнает, что скрывает выполнено. Идите в кабинет Мортимера. Так, слушай, а там что-то есть. А, здесь Бонапартик. С ним в шахматы сыграть что-то не очень хочется. Хотя, конечно же, есть варианты поболтать с ним.
Monsieur Bonaparte, may I speak with you a moment?
May we?
Would you have any more information about the conference Lord Mortimer spoke of?
Nothing at all. Mortimer is very committed to secrecy when it comes to his conferences. But given the presence of Monsieur Peru and ourselves, I think it must concern France to some extent. Otherwise, I doubt he would have invited 3 Frenchmen to his table, huh?
What do you think of Duke Godoy?
Well, I'd rather not express any opinion of him.
Why is that?
His reputation is enough for me.
Meaning?
This gentleman enjoys people talking about him for too many reasons. His undeserved titles, more than 10 in just 4 years, and each one more prestigious than the one before.
You don't think he deserves them?
If I had seen him on the battlefield, there might be some doubt. But that is not the case. The Queen would rather not risk losing him, so she consoles him with awards and titles.
So you don't have a very positive opinion?
His coveting French Catalonia does not encourage me to have one.
I understand your point of view. Well, I'll be leaving you now. Shall we meet up again later?
Wait, monsieur. Any news of your mother?
Unfortunately not, no.
I hope to speak with her about my deal before I leave. Let me know if you find her. À plus tard, monsieur.
Так, ну что ж, тогда пойдем в это. Кабинет Мортимера. А это выше по коридору. Ага, здесь не выйти. А это будет выше по коридору.
What can I do for you, sir? I am at your service day and night, sir.
Так, где у нас кабинет? Вот он. Так. Что здесь такое сверкнуло? Ничего. Пойдем в кабинет Мортимера.
So, what did my mother mean by going beyond the nightmare?
Найдите ночной кошмар. Какой-то колодец у него здесь. Ключ с оккультным символом вода. Вода, вода. Земля, воздух я видел, а вот воду не видел.
Dante's Purgatory.
Чистилище Данте.
Why does your mind presume to flight when you're still like the imperfect grub, the worm before it's attained its final form? Charming.
Да уж. Изумительно. Книжка.
The Book of the Mortimer family.
И все, что ли?
The Book of the Mortimer family.
Так. Якорцы. Книжка ничего. И что? Видимо, это предок Мортимера. Предмет Левиафан. Что за Левиафан? Вода. Кто там что-то... А, это вот этот разговаривает.
A minor bird. Sarah de Riche? Waldo, you know Sarah? Well, Waldo, is your master good?
Понял. Пока ты говоришь ни о чем совершенно. Так.
A painting about a siege dated.
Осада. Ага, это кушанье. Сейчас покормим птичку.
Might come in handy. A minor bird. Sarah de Riche? Waldo, you know Sarah? What? Repeat that, Waldo. Sarah? What about Sarah? Good God, what's been happening here? Well, Waldo, is your master good?
Опять покормить тебя надо.
I don't really know what I was expecting.
Так, что, опять ягоды взять? Все. Ладно, ягоды кончились. Ага.
Let's take a closer look. Dark chocolate beans. Very bitter. They're greatly prized in high society.
Счет. Еда, еда, еда. Так. Мистер Палетти, пишу к вам касательно датировки картин, которые вы получили от меня на время выставки. Примите во внимание, что они входят в мою коллекцию и датированы по масонскому календарю. Как вы могли уже догадаться, вам следует вычесть 4000 из каждой даты, если не хотите привести посетителей в замешательство. Напоминаю, что масонское летоисчисление начинается с марта, а не января. Что касается картины с Лунгином, я взял на себя смелость подправить копье, чтобы оно больше походило на настоящее. Настаиваю, чтобы вы поступили так же. Искренне ваш лорд Уильям Мортимер. Копье подправить еще какое-то.
No, what have we got here?
Так, что
It
это
looks
у
like
нас?
a model of a lock. It's as if Mortimer is fond of complicating things sometimes. Well, I hope I never have to try and unlock it.
Мед. Кстати, надо съесть один уже. О, ночной кошмар, кстати.
The nightmare painted by Fuseli in 1781. Ah, this must be what my mother was talking about. Now just need to find out what she meant by go beyond. Hey, looks like it's mounted on rails on each side. It should lift up, I think. There must be a mechanism somewhere.
Где-то должен быть механизм. Найдите ночной кошмар. Найдите механизм, сдвигающий картину.
Carmelite water will give me a little reprieve.
Кармелитская вода.
I don't think this book can help me. I don't think this book can help me.
Так, можно еще раз подойти и покормить этого гада.
A minor bird.
Покормить птицу, дать конфетку. Бык.
What have I done? It looks like I've killed him. Oh, shit. I better not hang around.
От шоколада такой длинный. Так, механизм, сдвигающий конфетку. Вон еще картинка есть.
No. Let's look elsewhere.
А, подправил копье. Кстати говоря, вот здесь должно быть что-то интересное. Не? Нет.
Which four-letter word could open this chest?
ПМТ. Есть какой-то пароль, но для этого я должен найти записи с паролем, я так понимаю. Золотой эликсир. Но записи с паролем я не нашел нифига.
Which four-letter word could open this chest?
Б.Е. Пент. Пант. Панни. Пана. Панас. Панс. Данс. Занс. Шанс. Данс. Третья буква. Дав. Давс. Дакс. Дапс. Дапт. Не то. И чё? Завис, что ли? Даби. Дами. Даби. Дами. Нет. Деми. Депи. День. День. Не? Пень.
Which four-letter word could open this chest?
Так. Нужно где-то пароль найти, а он, возможно, стоит в книге. Он может быть и в книге вполне.
No mechanism here.
Ой, а вот и ножка. Механизм-то я нашел. А вот пароль найти. Вычесть 4000 из каждой даты.
Now, what have we got here? Well, it looks like a model of a lock. Does As if Mortimer is fond of complicating things sometimes.
Может, в книге есть
Well, I hope I
пароль.
never have to try and unlock it. I don't think this book can help me.
Где пароль-то?
Okay, no mechanism behind this painting. Well, I'll have to keep looking.
Да где этот пароль найти? Так, ладно. Вода. Он механизм есть, конечно же, но сейчас ладно. Сейчас кому чутка перекурим. Так, ладно, нажимаем на механизм. Поехали дальше.
Aha! I found it. Oh, what on earth is this? A ring lock now? Great. That's all I needed.
Четыре цифры. Офигеть. Рассмотреть колесики.
Looks like there's a marker on number 1 on the second roller.
На цифре 1 второго колесика стоит пометки. Но так.
Looks like there's a marker on number 1 on the second roller. Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
Да. Так. Давай еще раз искать. Так, что тут у нас есть?
It looks like a model of a lock. It's if Mortimer is fond of complicating things
Вон там
sometimes.
мед лежит.
Well, I hope I never have to try and unlock it.
Мед. «792 год. Вторая буква 1. Как вы уже догадались, обследовать вычесть 4000 из каждой даты, если не хотите привести посетителей в замешательство. С марта, а не января. Примите во внимание, что они входят в мою коллекцию, датированную по масонскому календарю. С марта. Подправить копье, чтобы она больше не походила на настоящее. Так. Значит, третья цифра 3 должно быть. А вот масонский календарь какой должен быть?
Well, I got it wrong.
1130. Так, там этот. Картинка есть вот здесь.
This painting isn't finished, and it looks like Mortimer probably did it. Not bad, but you can't exactly say it's been done in the style of the period. This painting isn't finished, and it looks like Mortimer probably did it. Not bad, but you can't exactly say it's been done in the style of the period.
History of the First Crusades by Pierre Amédée de la Salle.
Strange. All the dates are all wrong. They indicate events that took place in the year 5000 and something? Wait, did I miss something?
Прочесть о Первом крестовом походе.
The famous call of Pope Urban II.
20 years after the capture of Jerusalem from the Arabs by the Turks, Urban II convened the council. He promises a plenary indulgence to Christians who go and get Jerusalem back from the Turks. The result, the Jewish community on the road to Jerusalem found itself persecuted for no reason. 12,000 Jews would perish, not to mention the massacre of Ma'ara, where acts of cannibalism by Frankish crusaders were reported. or even the capture of Jerusalem, where approximately 30,000 were left dead. It signaled the beginning of centuries of wars of religion.
5189, 5192, 5147, 5149.
Or how Louis VII, King of France, eager to be pardoned for the death of thousands of innocent people in the fire of the Church of Vitry, convinces the Pope to authorize him to lead his own crusade. The result, in Germany, a new outburst of violence against the Jewish community, and a monumental fiasco by poor Louis VII, cuckolded by his wife's uncle. The famous call from Pope Gregory VIII in his Audita Tremendi bull of 5,187. Oh, the crusade where Richard the Lionhearted distinguished himself. It states the first sea blockade of Saint-Jean d'Acre was broken in the 12th month of 5190 AL, whereas the siege had been going on for 2 years.
1190.
The Crusades took place not long after the year 1000. Here all the dates say 5000 and something. I'm guessing this dating system begins 4,000 years before the calendar that we use. Yet, I'm getting the feeling that there's something else, another small detail, but what is it?
Отложить. 5187 и 5190. Значит, 1187 и 1190.
Doesn't work, damn it. I
Значит,
really thought I was
187.
close. 1190. Isn't the right date when you subtract 4,000?
8,
I must have missed a subtlety.
7.
Well, I got it wrong.
1187.
It doesn't matter.
Пятитысячные.
Looks like there's a marker on number 1 on the second roller.
Так, должно быть что-то еще по-любому.
This painting isn't finished, and it looks like Mortimer probably did it. Not bad, but you can't exactly say it's been done in the style of the period.
Так, пойдем посмотрим копье.
Which 4-letter word could open this chest?
День не подошло. Может, дань.
Which 4-letter word could open this chest?
Спасибо, Зай. А, Зевс. Есть. Осколки янтаря, точно. Ладно.
history of the Mortimer lineage. Looks like his ancestors have always sought to improve society and have had an open attitude towards the arts. Oh, the family tree. The first William Alexander Mortimer. He was born in 1131 and distinguished himself during the Third Crusade, during which he rubbed shoulders with Richard the Lionheart. He showed outstanding bravery during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre. He died in 1211 in the country of Westford at the age of 80. What longevity. Nice. Nothing is mentioned about his wife. The direct descendant of William Alexander Mortimer I was born in 1195 on his father's return from the crusade. Only son, more discreet than his father, it states that he was widely traveled. He produced only one descendant, named William Michael Mortimer. He died in 1275. There's no chapter dedicated to his mother.
1131-1195.
Lord William Alexander Mortimer, lover of the arts and the sciences, he took up politics at an early age. After rapidly becoming influential, he decides to retire from public life in order to organize conferences reserved for the elite with the aim of finding answers to world problems. Blah, blah, blah. He's also an only son, and the book doesn't mention any known descendant. Alright, for one, the women of the lineage are not mentioned at all. What a cavalier attitude. Right, let's see. Who else is there? This seems to be the list of grants and sponsorships given by the Mortimer family. Many families kept documents of their history, but I've never seen anything like this before. Such regularity in writing them up through the generations for such a long time. First time I've ever seen that. Mortimer gives considerable importance to his origins. That's undeniable.
Так, пойдем попробуем еще два кода. Тысяча 131. Нифига.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
95.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
Так.
History of the First Crusades by Pierre Amédée de la Salle. Strange. All the dates are all wrong. They indicate events that took place in the year 5000 and something? Wait, did I miss something?
5189, 5192.
The Crusades took place not long after the year 1000. Here all the dates say 5000 and something. I'm guessing this dating system begins 4,000 years before the calendar that we use. Yet, I'm getting the feeling that there's something else, another small detail, but what is it?
5189, 5192. 1147, 1149. Попробовать эти цифры. 1100. 47.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
149.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
Что-то я упустил.
History of the First Crusades by Pierre Amédée de la Salle. Strange. All the dates are all wrong. They indicate events that took place in the year 5000 and something? Wait, did I miss something? The Crusades took place not long after the year 1000. Here all the dates say 5000 and something. I'm guessing this dating system begins 4,000 years before the calendar that we use. Yet, I'm getting the feeling that there's something else, another small detail, but what is it?
$189, 592. 547, 549.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
Ничего.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
589.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
592.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
Так, что-то не так.
William Alexander Mortimer I.
Мор теперь первый, 12 месяц 590 года. 590 странная дата.
That date in
Снова
5000 or
5000.
something again. I wonder what in the world it means.
$1190. 500.
Damn it.
Нет.
It doesn't work.
1190.
I was pretty sure it was right. Maybe I didn't use the right dating system.
1190.
Doesn't work, damn it.
Да что ж такое-то?
I really thought I was close. 1190. Isn't the right date when you subtract 4,000? I must have missed a subtlety. Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter. Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter. doesn't work, damn it. I really thought I was close. 1,190. Isn't the right date when you subtract 4,000? I must have missed a subtlety.
12-й месяц был. Да, на картинке. А здесь что?
A painting depicting the Third Crusade. It's titled Winter Before the Fall of
Третий крестовый поход.
I get the impression I've seen that before. In fact, I've read something on the Crusades before in the study. He clearly loves the subject.
Угу. Третий крестовый поход. Пошли-ка глянем.
History of the First Crusades by Pierre Amédée de la Salle. Strange. All the dates are all wrong. They indicate events that took place in the year 5000 and something? Wait, did I miss something?
1189, 1192. Вот, третий крестовый поход.
The famous call from Pope Gregory VIII in his Audita Tremendi Bull of
1187, 1187.
Oh, the crusade where Richard the Lionhearted distinguished himself. It states the first sea blockade of Saint-Jean d'Acre was broken in the 12th month of 5190 AL, whereas the siege had been going on for 2 years.
Двенадцатый месяц. Ага, и там же тоже это. — 1190, и там тоже 12 месяц 190.
The famous call from Pope Gregory VIII in his Audita Tremendi Bull of 5187. Oh, the crusade where Richard the Lionhearted distinguished himself. It states the first sea blockade of Saint-Jean d'Acre was broken in the 12th month of 5190 AL, whereas the siege had been going on for 2 years.
12 месяце. А 12 месяц это идет с марта начинается. Март заканчивается февралем. Получается февраль. Февраль. 12. Так.
Coup de Lance by Paul Rubens. It's Christ on the cross as Longinus pierces his side with his spear. Rubens, he was a great painter. This painting isn't finished. It looks like Mortimer probably did it. Not bad, but you can't exactly say it's been done in the style of the period.
Так, что-то я упустил, вот по-любому, что-то я упустил. Не пойму, что. 1109.
This seems to be the list of grants and sponsorships given by the Mortimer family. In 1489, the Mortimer family participates in the purchase of the Caravel Santa Clara from Juan Niño, shipowner on behalf of Don Luis de la Cerda. the vessel will be renamed La Niña. La Niña, yes! It's one of the 3 caravels of the expedition of Christopher Columbus. It enabled him to discover the Americas. Well, you can certainly say that grandfather had a flair for business. In 1567, the Mortimer family financed a brickworks in Qinhongdao in China, fitted out with 51 furnaces 3.5 meters high, in guise of a protocol gift for Long King, the emperor of the Ming Dynasty. I bet that brickworks helped maintain the Great Wall. In 1645, the Mortimer family allocated a pension to be passed down the generations to the Nérac family from Bordeaux, shipowners and refiners from father to son, a family known for their expeditions to Africa and America. From 1235 to 1280, the Mortimer family granted an annual pension to Albert the Great, Archbishop of Regensburg, in order to fund his research in the writing of the Mirabilibus Munci, books about the wonders of the world. In 1513, the Mortimers financed the expedition of Ponce de Leon to the New World. That was the expedition that resulted in the discovery of Florida, in fact. In 1645, the Mortimer family allocated a pension to be passed down the generations to the Nérac family from Bordeaux, shipowners and refiners from father to son, a family known for their expeditions to Africa and America. In 1635, the Mortimer family sponsored the Academy of Mersenne for 30 years in Paris for works in the sciences and in philosophy. That was generous, but not entirely selfless when you think about Blaise Pascal, who developed the first calculating machine at the same time. In 1550, the Mortimer family financed half of the construction of St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow by way of protocol gift from Ivan IV Vasilievich, one of the most beautiful religious buildings ever built. In 1772, Lord Mortimer made a donation of £112,000 to the attention of Achille Basmarin, a major ship owner of Bordeaux, for the construction of a ship, the Clary. But that's Lafayette's ship. I thought he paid with his own coin. It's even been suggested that grants were given by the order, but in fact, that wasn't true at all. From 1685 to 1720, the Mortimer family allocated an annual pension to Denis Papin for his brilliant works in pneumatics and hydraulics. That reminds me of spectacular experiments such as his first submarine, which didn't end all that well if I remember correctly.
Да, что-то здесь подсказок-то нету.
Many families kept documents of their history, but I've never seen anything like this before. Such regularity in writing them up through the generations for such a long time. First time I've ever seen that. Mortimer gives considerable importance to his origins. That's undeniable. Well, well, history of the Mortimer lineage. Looks like his ancestors have always sought to improve society and have had an open attitude towards the arts.
Чё за нафиг-то?
Oh, the family tree. All right. For one, the women of the lineage are not mentioned at all. What a cavalier attitude. Right. Let's see. Who else is there? only son, a descendant with a singular name. He also took a wife and had only one child, named William again. Another at random. William Mortimer again. Only son, him too. Born in 1573 and died in 1665. Mortimers lived to a ripe old age, that's for sure. Discreet again. The summary states that he was an excellent merchant, and that towards the end of his life, he entered politics? All the descendants are called William Mortimer. There have been only male descendants. All of them only sons. Strange. It was uncommon to have only one child in those days, let alone all only sons. How was that possible? It really makes you wonder if all those sons really are official descendants. I'm smelling something shady here. The first William Alexander Mortimer. He was born in 1131 and distinguished himself during the Third Crusade, during which he rubbed shoulders with Richard the Lionheart. He showed outstanding bravery during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre. He died in 1211 in the country of Westford at the age of 80. What longevity. Nice. Nothing is mentioned about his wife.
Ну-ка, еще раз.
Oh, the family tree.
А, в 211-м вернуться. Отойти. 1131. Тысяча. 131.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
Да что ж такое-то, а? Чё за нафиг?
William Alexander Mortimer the First, the 12th month of
12 месяц без 190 года.
5190. It's a funny date.
Странная дата.
That date in 5000 and something again. I wonder what in the world it means. History of the First Crusades by Pierre Amédée de la Salle.
И здесь тоже 12 месяц.
All the dates are all wrong. They indicate events that took place in the year 5000 and something? Wait, did I miss something? Or how Louis VII, King of France, eager to be pardoned for the death of thousands of innocent people in the fire of the Church of Vitry, convinces the Pope to authorize him to lead his own crusade. The result, in Germany, a new outburst of violence against the Jewish community, and a monumental fiasco by poor Louis VII, cuckolded by his wife's uncle. The famous call from Pope Gregory VIII in his Audita Tremendi Bull, 5187. Oh, the crusade where Richard the Lionhearted distinguished himself. It states the first sea blockade of Saint-Jean d'Acre was broken in the 12th month of 5190 AL, whereas the siege had been going on for 2 years. The crusades took place not long after the year 1000. Here all the dates say 5000 and something. I'm guessing this dating system begins 4,000 years before the calendar that we use. Yet, I'm getting the feeling that there's something else, another small detail, but what is it?
Так. А если здесь взять за основу 0. Ноль. 9.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
Что за бред? Как вы можете догадаться, вам следует вычесть 4000 из каждой даты, если не хотите привести посетителей в замешательство. Напоминаю, что масонское летоисчисление считается с марта, а не января. Март это 3. Что касается картины с Лонгином, я взял на себя смелость подправить копье, чтобы оно больше походило на настоящее. Настаиваю, чтобы вы поступили так же. 4000 с каждой даты вычесть.
No, what have we got here? Well, it looks like a model of a lock. It's as if Mortimer is fond of complicating things sometimes. Well, I hope I never have to try and unlock it. Hey, there are 2 dates on this painting. 1154 AD and 5154 AL.
1150, 5154 АУ. О. 1154 и 5154. Оба-на, 1154. Может она? 1100. 4. 5.
Well, I got it wrong.
Я ошибся.
It doesn't matter.
1154. 5154.
Well,
тоже не
I got it wrong. It doesn't matter. Hey, there are 2 dates on this painting. 1154 AD and 5154 AL.
Что не так-то, я не понимаю.
Coup de Lance by Paul Rubens. It's Christ on the cross as Longinus pierces his side with a spear. Rubens. He was a great painter.
А, он копье подправил. Лонгин. Картина с Лонгином. Картину с Лонгином он подправил копье. На картине с Лонгином он подправил копье.
This painting isn't finished. It looks like Mortimer probably did it. Not bad, but you can't exactly say it's been done in the style of the period. This painting isn't finished. It looks like Mortimer probably did it. Not bad, but you can't exactly say it's been done in the style of the period.
Тысяча 190, так. Если 1190, то с 3-го месяца, может 1000 с января, с марта. Стой. Новый год у них начинается с марта месяца, значит 1190. С марта, январь. Значит, на 3 месяца позже. Значит, должно получиться 1189, по идее. 189 должно получиться.
Still not working. I get the impression I counted the wrong way.
189, тогда 191.
Right?
Есть. Вау, вау, вау.
Open sesame.
Боня, нельзя. И что, теперь не выйти отсюда? Интересно. Так, найдите код от потайной двери. Ладно, здесь полазим, но пока что прервемся на обед.